I've spent over 20 years playing Halo, starting off with Combat Evolved, all the way up to Halo Infinite. Some games I played less, like Halo 4 and 5, but I've always enjoyed the game. And while some games are better than others, I think that Halo Infinite has always been one of the best Halo games to date. And in this video, we'll find out what I exactly think to that. But recently, if you've been following Halo quite closely, you'll see that a lot of videos and posts about how good the game has become, and prior to that, almost everything was negative, with people posting about how Halo has died, how bad the game is, and how they're simply just not playing it anymore. This went on for such a long time, almost since launch. So let's get one thing right here. A lot of these videos were sort of bandwagoning because a lot of the negative videos received clicks and views. So be aware of that, and I think a lot of you will understand that anyway. So, one big streamer or YouTuber puts out a negative video, then there'll be like 10 or 20 others that will follow suit because they simply want the clicks off of that. So we've got to keep that in mind. But fundamentally, I think a lot of people are missing the point, and that is what makes a game fundamentally good. So let's take things back to basics just a little bit. Now, you can call me old, but here are some things that I think are important for any video game to be fun. Some of these points are a good storytelling. We want something that's going to reminiscent with us, um, keep us entertained. We also want the game to have good graphics. Now, I don't necessarily mean like technical loading distances or anything like that, but we want the game to be creative, engaging, have a certain style to it. And also the gameplay. The overall gameplay of the game is fundamentally probably the most important thing of everything because it keeps you engaged, it makes you feel good, gives you that dopamine hit, makes you like for Halo gives you that snappy element, strategy, etc. So when we focus on the storytelling of Halo Infinite, um, for me it was okay, it was good. I've always been more of a multiplayer guy, anyways, but I completed it. I enjoyed it, and I thought that the open world aspect that a lot of people didn't actually like at the time was something that was cool and different for Halo. And that was always the thing for Halo to do something a bit different for each game. Having the option to explore the whole world at one's will was quite good. Discovering new things hidden around the world was also really fun. Looking around on Reddit, etc., I'm currently seeing a lot of people want campaign DLC, which just goes to show that it was a success, even though at the time a lot of people were moaning about the campaign when it first came out. But it seems now people want to play an expanded campaign, and I probably would too. So when it comes to the whole graphics of the Halo Infinite, um, and for any game as well, the higher the quality and creativity is, it's always a bonus. It helps us to stay engaged with the game, and a lot of us admire the efforts gone into the creativity behind the modeling and artwork. For Halo Infinite, when it was released, it was a bit of a breath of fresh air for me. It took the classic feel of Halo, but it gave it a clean, modern, and crisp look, which is what most modern games will have. And that was mainly from the new engine which they built it on. It was clean and crisp, but it kept that same art style. And this is what I expect the Halo games to look like. And for me, it doesn't need any updates. I know originally from the original trailer, campaign trailer, there were elements that weren't so good. Um, Craig was probably one of the most famous outcomes of that. But the team at 343 went away and reworked it to be just a little bit better and consistent all over, which really worked and was really good on launch when the game actually came out, even on beta. But going back to the gameplay, one of the probably the biggest reason for any game to be successful and good, and it is the most important thing, is the gameplay of Halo Infinite fun. Does the game, any game you play, feel good? Well, for Halo Infinite, this was always the thing. It was always fun to play. I remember seeing multiple posts, videos, and more saying about how good the game was, despite some of its flaws like graphics, etc., and loading distances and clouds, etc. So, if the game is fun, then keep on playing it, right? A lot of these things are not necessarily needed. But for me, like Halo Infinite feels quick, snappy, and strategic, like all Halo games should be. It has a good overall balance in the sandbox as well, especially following a few tweaks that have come out over the years. So, what is the problem with Halo Infinite? Was there ever a problem with Halo Infinite? And why are some people so quick to put it down? Do these points even matter in the grand scheme of things? Well, let's take a quick look at some of the highlights of the negativity that started since launch. Probably one of the biggest things is that I've seen probably constantly throughout is the customization. I remember from the first week of playing Halo Infinite, this was an issue. I remember seeing a post that said something along the lines of, for 1,000 customization options, everyone looks the same. And this was in the first week. And my initial thought on this was, like, dude, chill. It's the first week. No one has unlocked anything yet. We're all starting on the same slate here. But even after that, people continue to moan and moan. But when we take things down to the core fundamentals, does customizing your character affect your gameplay in Halo? No. So does it affect the storytelling, graphics, or gameplay? No. So for me, the whole customization thing is nitpicking. Of course, like, I mean, look at my character. I do like the customizing features of the game. Yes, I do. I do like how it's given us more options over the course of time, with cross-core helmets and armor coatings, etc. Yes, but would it stop me from playing the game that has good gameplay? Absolutely not. So whenever I see people moaning about the customization issues, I kind of just dismiss it, to be honest with you. It doesn't affect anything for me to play the actual game that feels good and has a good story and has clean graphics and great creativity. But there were other issues in and around, and there's some that still haunts us to today, and one of which is desync. And that's been a bit of an issue for a lot of people. Um, I think sometimes people made out that it was worse than what it was at times, but I can only talk about my experience. And in my experience, probably only one game out of 10 would be really bad. I mean, for any game, you aren't going to have a completely perfect connection when you're playing with people from all over the country or even the world. I mean, hell, like some players who experience continued bad ping because of where they are, etc., like Mint Blitz, they would adapt and overcome to still remain good and entertaining. So what's everyone else's excuse? And what I find a bit funny now is the positivity around Halo has been going on for probably a few months now, but it's only been like this week where 343 have actually released an update with regards to desync issues with the most recent update. But a lot of these videos and posts of praising the game come out before the update. So in theory, when we're talking about desync, nothing has changed on this front. And some people are even saying that the new updates aren't even quite as good. They prefer the older style netcoding. So was it really an issue in the first place is what I'm asking? I don't know. I mean, it wasn't great. It wasn't perfect. We all know that. But was it as big an issue as what people were making out to be? I mean, to be fair, I mainly play Big Team Battle, so the tick rate on that server is a lot lower for that game mode. So for me, I probably didn't experience as much lag when compared to other players. So I do understand that. A lot of people would come back and argue, well, we didn't have any firefight or forge on launch. And I get this for some players, like especially if you're a PvE kind of guy. Still though, if you enjoy the game for what it is, there's still plenty to do elsewhere. When Forge launched, that was fantastic, and still today is probably one of the main reasons why the game is so good now because of the different maps, the variety of maps, the variety of custom games. So it's definitely been one of the main reasons why people have started to like the game again. But many people would argue that this feature should be available on launch. However, I'm of the mindset where I was happy to wait for it, only because it's been simply so good. And for those who argue that there was no progression on launch either, my simple response to that is it does not affect gameplay. So does it really matter? Like seriously, there were lots of events, challenges, and more to play for. So did you really need that progression system that we've got now? Probably not. It doesn't really add too much to the game otherwise. Should it? Maybe, maybe not. Even when you completed your challenges way back, if you enjoyed the game so much, keep on playing. You don't have to stop there. Do we really need an incentive to play the game? Like unlocking a new armor, armor, color, or whatever. How about just enjoying it for what it is? Like, if your attention span and need for something new is always that bad, just stop playing. It's not a major issue, really, is it? I mean, for me, I kept on playing because I enjoyed playing the game. And many people will moan about the skill-based matchmaking, and to be fair, like on this one, I completely agree with all this moaning. By the way, the only thing that this is that it's an industry-wide problem. It's not just applicable to Halo Infinite. Like, but even if I am getting stomped and not quite feeling like carrying the team because I want to chill or whatever, then I'll just play some custom games or firefight. It comes back to the point of if you don't enjoy the game, don't play it. And on that kind of subject, if you do not like the price of the skins, which to be fair, I agree they are quite expensive, just don't buy them. You don't have to buy them. No one is forcing your hand to pick up those skins. There's literally like no fear of missing out for Halo Infinite. You can do all the seasons as and when you please. If you really care about getting the customization and paying for that, then pay for it. If you think it's too expensive, wait for it to be a bit cheaper, or just use something else to dress your Spartan. But when we boil all of that down, I mean, those were the main points for people moaning about Halo Infinite, and some of which I get. But when we boil it all down, ask yourself, was Halo Infinite really that bad in the first place? Granted, it may have had a little bit of a rocky start, but the fundamentals of the game were always there. The shooting, the aiming, everything was always there. The great gameplay, graphics, even the storytelling was good. I mean, understandably, some people get annoyed by the smaller details, but for those people, look at the bigger picture. Look at those fundamentals of any game and truly ask yourself, are you enjoying the game? If you're not, don't play it. If you are, then keep on playing. So that's it from me. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Is this kind of dismissing? I know that we need to highlight things, but when we see very exaggerated videos, like the death of Halo's in chaos, do you think it's over dramatizing it just a little bit? Is Halo Infinite really as bad as people sometimes make it out to be? Let me know in the comments below.